Hi guys. 2 weeks ago, Senhui shared a reflection with us entitled Everyone is Looking for You. It was about how Peter went to Jesus telling him that everyone was looking for him, and instead of going to the people for the sake of his reputation and popularity, Jesus went to the next town to preach. This sharing got me thinking, because I think if I was put in the same situation, my first instinct would be to go where I was wanted, where I was popular, because that feels good. We live in a world of instant gratification. Everything we could want is a click away in the comfort of our very own homes. We don't even have to change out of our pajamas and get out of bed if we didn't want to. Today we can buy anything from cars to entertainment to clothing to groceries and food without having to leave our homes, and everything gets delivered right to our doorstep. Thinking about how Jesus reacted to knowing that people were looking for him led me to think about Jesus' reaction to other things that happened to and around him, particularly when he was tempted by Satan after having fasted 40 days. Firstly, he must have been really hungry, and having bread to eat would have been so good. This would have been instant gratification for his hunger. However, he refused to turn the stone to bread. For me, it's never a good idea for me to go grocery shopping when I'm hungry or before I eat. I'll always end up buying a lot of snacks and junk food which aren't good for me. Secondly, Jesus refused to jump off a building when he was challenged to prove himself as the Son of God, although angels could have saved him if he had done so. How many of us are quick to want to stand up to a challenge and prove other people wrong? I'm sure I'm not the only one. Thirdly, Jesus was offered his very own instant kingdom. He wouldn't have had to die. He could have been independent of the Father, being able to rule all the kingdoms shown to him and their splendor. Yet, he told Satan to be away from him. So, the question that I have for you is, how often do we react based on instinct and impulse? How quickly do we scold the person who cuts us off on the road? How quickly do we tune out when the person we're speaking with doesn't agree with us? How quickly do we spend money on things we don't actually need because it's so convenient to do so? How quickly do we blame others when something goes wrong? How quickly do we judge others' actions without first trying to understand them? How quickly do we want to quit whatever we are doing when it gets a little challenging or when we face opposition? What I have learned from observing Jesus' reaction to being tempted, and even when he was told that everyone was looking for him, is to not react. Instead, to know what is priority, to know what matters, and to just focus on that. So that leads us to the question, what is it that matters? What should we prioritize? If we read the book of Ecclesiastes, we will see that everything, literally everything, is meaningless, and that only one thing matters. At the end of the book, in Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 13, it says this, "Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. So from here, we see that what we should prioritize is to fear God and to keep his commandments. As far as God's commandments are concerned, there are only two, from which all other commandments flow. Firstly, to love him with all our hearts, souls, minds, and strength. And secondly, to love our neighbors as ourselves. So, I would like to encourage you. The next time you catch yourself wanting to react to something that happens, stop. Ask yourself, how do I love God with all I have? And how do I love my neighbor as myself in this situation? I pray that God's wisdom will be upon you to respond to the situation in a manner that glorifies him.